Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive into the video, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon. Let's dive in. I disappeared the day I discovered my wife's affair, leaving her to face the regret that hit her like a storm. But it wasn't until 5 years later that she finally caught up with me in a small town far from our old life. What if walking away was the only way to find peace? Let me share who I am. My name is Ryan, and I'm a mechanic by trade, the kind who fixes cars in a garage that smells like oil and rubber. I met Elena 10 years ago at a community fair in our hometown. She was volunteering at a booth, handing out flyers for a local charity with this bright energy that drew me in. We started talking about everything from our favorite foods to dreams of traveling the world someday. Our first date was a picnic by the lake where we shared sandwiches and stories until the sun set. Things felt right from the beginning. We got married 2 years later in a simple church ceremony surrounded by friends and family who cheered us on. For the next 8 years, our life together was steady and warm. We lived in a modest house on a quiet street, the one we painted together during our first summer as husband and wife. Mornings meant coffee at the kitchen table, her reading the paper while I planned my day at the shop. Evenings were for walks around the neighborhood or cooking dinner side by side, experimenting with recipes we'd found online. We had our routines like Saturday movie nights on the couch with popcorn or her surprising me with notes in my lunchbox saying she loved me. Sure, we faced challenges like money being tight when work slowed down or arguments about little things like chores, but we always worked through them, ending with a hug and a promise to do better. I trusted her completely. She was my partner, my confidant. Life wasn't perfect, but it was ours, and I felt content in a way I'd never known before. But what happens when the person you trust most breaks your world? Gradually, though, small changes started to appear that made me pause. It began about 6 months before everything fell apart. Elena began coming home later from her job as a receptionist at a dental office. She'd say it was paperwork piling up or a last-minute patient, and I'd believe her because why wouldn't I? Her phone started staying in her purse more often, and when it buzzed during dinner, she'd check it quickly and set it face down. Just a friend, she'd mutter if I glanced over. I remember one night we were in bed, and I reached over to hold her, but she pulled away slightly, claiming she was too warm. In my mind, I wondered if she was stressed from work, maybe dealing with something she didn't want to burden me with. Another time, I noticed a new necklace around her neck. A delicate chain with a small pendant. A gift from a coworker, she explained with a smile that seemed a bit forced. I didn't press, thinking it was innocent, but the doubts built slowly, like noticing her perfume lingered stronger some days, or how she'd space out during conversations, her thoughts elsewhere. I told myself it was nothing, that marriages have ebbs and flows, but a quiet worry settled in my chest. The truth hit me on a rainy afternoon when I came home early from work because of a canceled appointment. The house was quiet, but I heard voices from our bedroom. As I approached, the door was ajar and there she was on the phone laughing softly. "I can't wait to see you again," she said, her voice low and intimate. "Last night was amazing." My heart dropped. I stood there frozen, listening as she planned another meeting with whoever was on the line. When she hung up, I stepped back quietly, my mind racing. Instead of bursting in, I slipped out and drove around for hours, piecing it together. That evening, she acted normal, kissing me hello and asking about my day. I played along, but inside, betrayal burned through me. Later, while she showered, I checked her phone, something I'd never done. Messages from a guy named Alex, her boss, filled with affection and details of their affair going back months. Photos, too, that made my stomach turn. The pain was sharp like a knife twisting. How could she? We built a life shared dreams. Anger mixed with heartbreak as I realized our marriage was a lie. I didn't confront her that night. Instead, I made a plan. The next morning after she left for work, I packed a bag with essentials, withdrew half our savings in cash, and left my phone and wedding ring on the kitchen table with a note. "I know everything. Don't look for me." Then I vanished, drove across state lines, changed my name slightly for work purposes, and settled in a remote town where no one knew my past. It was my quiet revenge, not explosive, but final. I started over as a mechanic in a small shop, living in a rented cabin by the woods. The first year was hell, nights filled with loneliness and questions. Did she regret it? Was she sorry? But time dulled the edges. I made new friends, took up hiking to clear my head, even dated casually after a while. 5 years passed, and I'd found peace, a new rhythm without the weight of betrayal. Then one crisp autumn day, as I wiped grease from my hands outside the garage, a familiar car pulled up. Elena stepped out looking older, her eyes searching. She spotted me and froze. "Ryan," she whispered, tears already forming. I stared, shock rooting me in place. "How did you find me?" She explained. She'd hired a private investigator after years of searching, driven by guilt that never faded. "The moment you left, I realized what I'd lost," she said, voice breaking. I ended it with him that day. "I've been alone, regretting every choice. Please, can we talk?" We sat in a nearby diner, her pouring out apologies, saying the affair was a mistake born from feeling neglected, but she knew it was no excuse. "I love you still," she pleaded. I listened, feeling a mix of old pain and pity. "You broke us," I told her quietly. "I built a new life without you." She begged for forgiveness, for a second chance, but I shook my head. "It's too late." As she drove away, sobbing, I felt closure, not triumph. Disappearing taught me that some wounds heal only with distance. And regret can't always mend what's shattered. If betrayal finds you, remember, your worth isn't defined by someone else's mistakes. Sometimes walking away is the strongest choice you